Good morning, all. This is our consecutive third lecture of hydrology and water resources engineering, in which we are discussing about the first unit. And in the previous part, in the previous week, we had seen what is meant by hydrology, what is meant by hydrological cycle, what are its different components, how they are categorized. They are categorized into the two groups, that is a transportation component and storage component. Then we have seen the importance of hydrological cycle, then water distribution on the earth. After that, we have seen the potential of the water of the various river basins in the India that accounts total about 188 million hectare meters. After that, we have seen major aspects of the hydrology, it is collection of the data, then analysis of the data and prediction of the events, that may be the rainfall, that may be the stream flow, that may be the yield from the reservoirs or yield from the basin itself, or yield of the catchment, we can say. Then after that, we had gone through the history and importance of hydrology. It is how the hydrology or how the aspects of hydrology are essential or are important in various activities. That part also we had discussed in the previous lecture. After discussing that, we gone through the water budget equation, and for that
sound नीट येत नाही.
just a minute, I will check for. I have discussed the water budget, and for that I had one of the example that is related to the 100 rupees. Okay, so on the same lines we have discussed the water budget equation, which gives us a change in the storage volume, which is nothing but the net summation of the precipitation, that is P, then runoff as R, surface runoff as R, then groundwater recharge or groundwater flow as G, E as evaporation, and T as a transpiration. So if we deduct those values from the net precipitation, we used to get the change in storage. That is the idea which we have discussed in a previous lecture itself. Then we had seen the storage as has a three component, that is a surface water storage, then soil moisture, and the groundwater. Okay, so that is a surface water storage as a soil moisture, and storage as a groundwater. That part we have seen. Afterwards, we have discussed the precipitation. What is meant by precipitation? It's a various forms and it's a various types. We'll go for the quick review of the various forms of the precipitation. It is a drizzle, then rainfall, then glaze, after that sleet, then snowfall or snow, then snowflakes, afterwards hails. Those were the forms of the precipitation, and the types of precipitation we had seen, that is a convective precipitation or the thermal precipitation. Then we had seen the second type of the precipitation, that is a frontal precipitation. In that we had seen three types. That is a cold front, means cold air mass drives the warm air mass, and warm air front, where the warm air mass replaces the cold air mass, and the third one, that is a stationary front, where both the air masses tries to push themselves or others, we can say. This is a stationary water front. Then we had seen the cyclonic precipitation. In that we had seen the tropical cyclones. It is also called as hurricanes or the typhoons. And the second type of the cyclonic precipitation, that is the extratropical cyclone. That part we had seen. And after completion of those types, we have started for the measurement of the precipitation. Okay, orographic precipitation also we had seen. So orographic precipitation, nothing but the precipitation which occurs due to the obstacles or the barriers in the pathway of the air masses. That means when the water vapor is to move further with the in the direction of the wind, and if there occurs a barrier in the way of the movement of the water vapors, then those water vapors move vertically upward and they get condensates and results in a heavy rainfall. Whereas the other sides of the such type of the barriers, that is the mountains and hills, results in a rain shadow area. That is we says in Marathi as a पर्जन्य छायेचा प्रदेश. म्हणजे डोंगराच्या एका बाजूला ज्या बाजूला अडथळा निर्माण झाला, ज्या बाजूला प्रेसिपिटेशन करणारी किंवा जी मॉइस्ट एअर येऊन कूल झाली, पाऊस पडला, तिच्या बरोबर अपोजिट साईडला फक्त आपल्याला ढग दिसतात. त्या साईडला पाऊस पडत नाहीये. ज्या साईडला पाऊस पडत नाहीये त्या साईडला आपण किंवा त्या बाजूला आपण पर्जन्य छायेचा प्रदेश असं म्हणतो. Okay, so that part we have seen in the orographic precipitation. Afterwards, we have started for the measurement of precipitation, and I think so we have seen the three types of rain gauges. So, especially in an area that the major contribution, the precipitation is in terms of the rainfall. It means that we used to get or we used to receive the precipitation in the form of small water droplets. So those water droplets are considered as a rainfall. Okay, in general we are talking about. So for measurement of that rainfall, the various instruments are used from ancient days, and now in today's era they are also there but there are some innovations brought into their mechanisms. Okay, so in that we have seen the two types are there, that is a non-recording, or they are also called as non-atomic rain gauge. And its example is a Siemens rain gauge that we have discussed in the previous part only. Then automatic rain gauge, or they are also called as recording rain gauges. They includes weighing bucket rain gauge, tipping bucket rain gauge, and float type rain gauge. I think so a float type rain gauge has been remain to be discussed about. It means we have discussed the other things. The Siemens rain gauge is a non-recording rain gauge which includes a measuring jar inside it. Siemens rain gauge मध्ये एक measuring jar असतो, तो एका सिलेंडर मध्ये आतमध्ये एम्बेडेड केलेला असतो. At the top of the same, for the collection of the rainfall, there is to a provision of a funnel. वरच्या बाजूला एक फनेल लावलेलं असतं. त्या फनेल मध्ये पडणारा जो पाऊस आहे तो कलेक्ट केला जातो, आणि कलेक्ट केलेला जो पाऊस आहे तो नंतर ना फनेल थ्रू त्या मेजरिंग जार मध्ये कलेक्ट केला जातो. मेजरिंग जार या बाजूला दाखवलेला आहे. याची मॅक्झिमम कॅपॅसिटी जी असते ती 12.5 सेंटीमीटर असते. मीन्स द मॅक्झिमम कॅपॅसिटी ऑफ द मेजरिंग जार इज 2.5 समथिंग सेंटीमीटर्स. आफ्टर फुलफिलिंग दॅट, म्हणजे ज्या वेळेस हे मेजरिंग जार कम्प्लिटली फिल होणार त्यानंतर ना याला रिप्लेस करावं लागतं, म्हणजे याच्यामधलं पाणी पूर्णपणे बाहेर काढावं लागतं. त्यासाठी आपल्याला काय करावं लागतं, वी नीड टू गेट इट टेकन इट आउट ऑफ द दिस रिम और cylinder, we can say. We have to take out the water, we have to empty it, and again we have to fix it in at its original position. म्हणजे पाण्याने भरलं की ते नंतर आपल्याला बाहेर काढून घ्यावं लागतं, एम्प्टी करावं लागतं आणि पुन्हा आहे तिथं ठेवावं लागतं. ऍज पर द इंडियन मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट, IMD मध्ये आपण ज्याला म्हणतो, त्याच्यामध्ये सुरुवातीला हे वापरलं गेलेलं रेनगेज आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये स्पेशालिटी जर का आपण बघितली तर याचं जे मेजरिंग जे केलं जातं ते साधारणतः सकाळी 8:30 ला केलं जातं, किंवा जर का फ्रिक्वेन्सी जर का जास्त असेल किंवा रेनफॉलची इंटेन्सिटी जास्त असेल तर त्या केसमध्ये ठराविक इंटरवलला मेजरमेंट घेतलं जातं. म्हणजे आफ्टर 2 hours, आफ्टर 4 hours, आफ्टर 6 hours, आफ्टर 8 hours, आफ्टर 10 hours, likewise we used to take the measurement. आणि हे जे पूर्णपणे मेकॅनिझम आहे, व्हॉट एव्हर द मेन सिलेंडर इज देअर, इट्स एम्बेडेड इन अ फाउंडेशन विच इज मेड अप ऑफ अ मॅसनरी. ओके, म्हणजे आपली मग स्टोन मॅसनरी असेल किंवा ब्रिक मॅसनरी असेल, या मॅसनरीच्या फाउंडेशन स्टार्टामध्ये बरोबर सिलेंडर एम्बेडेड केला जातो, ज्याची टोटल हाईट जर का आपण बघितली तर ती साधारणतः 35 सेंटीमीटर पर्यंत राहते. and its base is to have a 20 centimeter diameter, whereas its top is to have 12.5 centimeter diameter. This is a simple mechanism of the Siemens strain gauge. It is not used for the measurement of snowfall. It is applicable only for the measurement of the rainfall, because as the funnel is there, it means that through which, if the snowfall will be there, in that case the particles of the snow will not move in a downward direction or will not be get collected, rather they will be going to block the funnel itself. Okay, so for the Indian standards, the data has been collected or the measurements are carried out at the 8:30 hours or the 17:30. That means at early morning 8:30 or at the evening 5:30, we can say. And it measures a rainfall which has been occurred in the previous time period. That may be a daily duration, that means the 24 hours, that may be the 2 hours duration, or that may be the 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours duration, etc. It means that suppose that you have recorded at 8:30, means you have made that bottle as empty at 8:30, then and suppose that it has been filled at 12:30. It means that in that 4 hours duration, whatever rainfall has been occurred, that rainfall will be get measured by this Siemens rain gauge. Okay, it means that it gives an cumulative rainfall which has been occurred in the previous time duration. म्हणजे या केसमध्ये 8:30 ते 12:30 या कालावधीमध्ये जो काही पाऊस पडला, त्याचं क्युम्युलेटिव्ह ऍडिशन होऊन म्हणजे टोटल रेनफॉल जो झाला, तो टोटल रेनफॉल आपल्याला याच्यामधून मिळणार आहे. तसंच जर का आपण पूर्णपणे दिवसाचा म्हणजे समजा सकाळी 8:30 ला आपण एमटी करून पूर्णपणे बॉटल आतमध्ये ठेवली, मेजरिंग बॉटल ठेवली आणि संध्याकाळी 5:30 वाजता जर का आपण रिडिंग घेतलं किती त्याचा रेनफॉल कलेक्ट झाला आहे, तर त्या केसमध्ये आपण असं म्हणू शकतो की पूर्णपणे दिवसभरामध्ये म्हणजे 8:30 ते संध्याकाळी 5:30 पर्यंत जो काही पाऊस पडला, जे काही पर्जन्यमान झालं, त्या पूर्णपणे ड्युरेशन मध्ये जो काही पाऊस पडला त्याची समेशन म्हणजे नेट टोटल आपल्याला तिथं मिळणार आहे. सो दॅट इज द मेकॅनिझम वी कॅन से. इट डझंट गिव्ह द इंटेन्सिटी अँड द ड्युरेशन. इंटेन्सिटी मिळणारच नाही आपल्याला. इंटेन्सिटी म्हणजे काय असणार आहे, सेंटीमीटर्स पर हवर असणार आहे किंवा सेंटीमीटर्स पर हाफ हवर, 10 मिनिट्स एक्सेट्रा. कारण त्या ड्युरेशन मधला आता बऱ्याच वेळा आपण बघतो की 10 मिनिटांमध्ये सुद्धा पडणाऱ्या पावसाचं व्हॅरिएशन असतं. म्हणजे सुरुवातीला रिमझिम असतो, नंतर ना त्याचा आपल्या भाषेमध्ये त्याचा जोर वाढतो म्हणजे खूप मोठा येतो, नंतर हळूहळू कमी होत जातो. हे जे त्याचं ड्युरेशन बरोबर होणारा जो चेंज आहे, जे व्हॅरिएशन आहे, त्याला आपण त्याची इंटेन्सिटी असं म्हणतो. मग ती इंटेन्सिटी आपण या रेनगेज मध्ये मोजू शकत नाहीये, कारण याच्यामध्ये आपण क्युम्युलेटिव्ह रेनफॉल मोजू शकतो. याची जी कॅपॅसिटी आहे ती मी पाठीमागे 12.5 सेंटीमीटर म्हटलं, बट इट्स कॅपॅसिटी इज 1.25 सेंटीमीटर. प्लीज करेक्ट इट. So its maximum capacity of the measurement is 1.25 centimeters, means 125 millimeters. So this is about the Siemens rain gauge. Next one is the automated rain gauge. That is a tipping bucket rain gauge. हे ऑटोमॅटिक आहे. जर त्याचं मेकॅनिझम आपण बघितलं तर हे असा हा सिलेंडर आहे. पुन्हा एकदा इथं फनेल लावलेला आहे. त्याचा अप्पर डायमीटर जो आहे, दॅट अप्पर डायमीटर इज 30 सेंटीमीटर्स and below at some depth below from the top surface, as like in our parapet wall, there is a extended portion or extended rim we can say, and below that there is a funnel which is provided to collect the water from that rim or from that circular portion of a 30 centimeter diameter at a single outlet. So this will be the outlet for that funnel, and this area of a 30 centimeter diameter is going to receive or collect the whatever amount of rainfall is going to occur over it. And exactly below the funnel म्हणजे बरोबर या फनेलच्या खालच्या बाजूला दोन बकेट मेकॅनिझम अटॅच केलेले असतात. ते एका रॉडला कनेक्टेड असतात. हा मेकॅनिझम कसं असतं की एक बकेट भरलं तर त्या दोन्ही बकेट बरोबर एकमेकांना 180 डिग्री मध्ये अटॅच केलेले असतात. म्हणजे काय होणार की एक बकेट भरत असताना समजा इथं एक बकेट भरते तर दुसरं बकेट बरोबर म्हणजे एका बकेटचं जर का आपण ओपनिंग बघितलं, दॅट ओपनिंग इज एक्झॅक्टली बिलो द फनेल, देन Other bucket will have its opening exactly over this collecting or measuring tube, we can say. So once that bucket fills, then it starts tipping. ते पाणी खाली टिपकाय सुरुवात होतो आणि लगेच काय होतं की ते वेट जास्त झाल्यामुळे ते बकेट बरोबर खालच्या बाजूला येतो. इट रोटेट्स अँड ऍट द within the fraction of seconds that another bucket used to take the position. म्हणजे एक बकेट भरलं की त्याच्यामधून पाणी खाली टिपकायला लागलं की बरोबर ते खाली फिरणार, जे हे मेकॅनिझम रोटेट होणार आणि रोटेट झालं की जे बकेट सुरुवातीला पाणी कलेक्ट करत होतं ते बरोबर 180 डिग्रीला खाली येणार आणि जे एम्प्टी बकेट होतं बॉटम साईडला लोअर पोर्शनला ते बकेट बरोबर फनेलच्या खाली येतं आणि आफ्टरवर्ड्स दॅट बकेट स्टार्ट्स द रेकॉर्डिंग. This is the mechanism herein. So it means here we will get the automatic data, and another thing is that for collection of the data, this mechanism has been connected to the recording devices. Those recording devices used to have a chart wrapped around a drum which is clock driven. म्हणजे काय असतं, एक घड्याळ असते, त्या घड्याळाला एक ड्रम लावलेला असतो, त्या ड्रमच्या वरती एक आपला ग्राफ पेपर त्याच्यावरती रॅप केलेला असतो आणि त्याचं मेकॅनिझम अशा पद्धतीने केलेलं असतं की फॉर अ कम्प्लीट वन रोटेशन ऑफ दॅट ड्रम it requires or it takes a 24 hours. It means that for a one complete rotation of that drum it requires to have a 24 hours. It means that within that 24 hours whatever be the rate of the rainfall which has been occurred, that automatically get recorded, that automatically get marked over that wrapped पेपर वी कॅन से, चार्ट वी कॅन से. त्या चार्ट वरती मग कसं रॅप केलेला तो मार्क होणार, तर बरोबर त्याच्यावरती त्या घड्याळा ड्रम रोटेट होत असताना क्लॉक ड्रिव्हन मेकॅनिझमला एक पेन अटॅच केलेला असतो. मग जसं जसं या बाजूने याचं रोटेशन होणार तसं बरोबर पेन फ्लक्च्युएट होणार. पेन फ्लक्च्युएट झाला म्हणजे अप अँड डाऊन झाला की बरोबर त्या लाईन्स त्याच्यावरती मार्क होत जाणार अँड वी यूज टू गेट द रीडिंग्स. We'll see that in the next part that how they used to be recorded all those things. This is a mechanism of the tipping bucket. The capacity of the one of the bucket is a 0.25 millimeters. Okay, and again this also can't use for the recording of the snowfall. The next one is the weighing bucket rain gauge. Here we used to see that this is the cylinder, sorry, this is a drum we can say, and over which this is a graph paper which is wrapped over it, or chart we can say, chart or graph which is wrapped around this revolving drum which is connected to the clock mechanism, and here this is a pen which is to be get touched to it. आता याच्यामध्ये डिफरन्स काय आहे पाठीमागच्या टिपिंग बकेट आणि वेइंग बकेट मध्ये, तर वेइंग बकेट मध्ये मेकॅनिझम काय असतं, इथं स्प्रिंग बॅलन्स असतो ऍज लाईक इन अवर वेइंग मशीन. आपल्या जे वेइंग मशीन मध्ये आतमध्ये स्प्रिंग बॅलन्स असतो, वी यूज टू गेट द व्हॉट एव्हर अमाउंट ऑफ वेट मास वी हॅव प्लेस्ड ओव्हर इट. Similarly, here used to have a mechanism which is to have a spring balance. So whenever there will be the rainfall collected in this bucket, it is going to compress the spring balance. It is going to push that spring balance in a downward direction. And when it will be moved in a downward direction, the pen will be moved in upward or downward direction accordingly. And as per that, as the clock is going to drive this drum, that pen will have the marking over the drum or marking over the chart which is wrapped over the drum in upward downward direction. And as mentioned earlier, it requires or it takes a 24 hours for one complete rotation. It means that in that 24 hours how much amount of the rainfall has been occurred with its duration and intensity we can say, it will be recorded by this type of a mechanism. So this is about an weighing bucket type rain gauge. Then the next one which has been remained to be discussed in the previous lecture, it is a float type rain gauge. Once again, this is a recording rain gauge itself. So in a float type rain gauge, after the collecting the rainfall through the funnel from the cylinder of having around about 203 centimeters diameter. So now here we are finding that diameter is more than that of the previous rain gauges. So through that 203 centimeter diameter ring, whatever amount of rainfall will be collected, it will be passed through the funnel and it is going to be collected in a chamber in which the float is provided. But before providing that water to that chamber, it has been passed through the filter mechanism. So here that filter used to remove the some amount of the debris or the dust, we can say, or the some soil particles. Those will be get flashed by the heavy rainfall occurring around in the region. जे ज्यावेळेस जर का जोराचा पाऊस पडायला लागला तर साईडून उडणारे जे मातीचे पार्टिकल्स आहेत ते जर का उडून आतमध्ये गेलेले असतील तर ते कलेक्ट करण्यासाठी फिल्टर मेकॅनिझम असतात. सो वीज टू गेट द क्लीन वॉटर हिअर अँड बिलो दॅट, म्हणजे इथून पाणी आपण कलेक्ट केलं. So after collecting that water, it is provided further to the float chamber. हा जो चेंबर आहे हे एक सिलेंडर आहे. या सिलेंडर मध्ये फ्लोट चेंबर आहे, याच्यामध्ये कलेक्ट केलेलं वॉटर येणार आणि हा फ्लोट आहे याला तर बेस, हा फ्लोटचा बेस आहे. आता फ्लोट म्हणजे काय असणार, एखादी वुडन प्लॅंक असेल, लाकडाचा असेल तो, किंवा प्लास्टिकच्या बॉटल सारखं मेकॅनिझम असू शकतो. मग याच्यामुळे काय होतं, ज्या वेळेस पाणी याच्यामध्ये फ्लोट मध्ये येणार किंवा चेंबर मध्ये येणार, हे पाणी सुरुवातीला बॉटमला येणार. बॉटम पासून पाणी वरती आलं की तो वरती आलं की हा फ्लोट काय होणार, पाण्याबरोबर वरती येणार, कारण डेन्सिटी कमी आहे, हा फ्लोट होणार आहे, म्हणजे पाण्यावरती तरंगणार आहे. सो ज्या वेळेस हा फ्लोट वरती मूव्ह होणार, when it will move in a vertically upward direction, it is going to push that mechanism, that rod in upward direction to which the pen is attached. म्हणजे हा रॉड काय झाला, आता या फ्लोटला कनेक्ट केलेला वरती आला, त्याला पेन जोडलेला आहे पुढच्या बाजूला, हा इथे दाखवलेला बा पेन आहे, आणि तो पेन कशाला टच केलेला आहे, तर वरती क्लॉक ड्रिव्हन जे मेकॅनिझम आहे ज्याच्यावरती आपण चार्ट रॅप केलेला आहे, त्या रॅप केलेल्या चार्टला किंवा त्या ड्रमला रोटेट करणाऱ्या पार्ट वरती बरोबर आपण हा पेन इथं अटॅच केलेला आहे, म्हणजे त्याला बरोबर टच केलेला आहे. तर हे क्लॉक ड्रिव्हन मेकॅनिझम आहे. तर बऱ्याच वेळा कसं होतं की आठवड्यातून एक वेळा याला चावी द्यावी लागते, म्हणजे आपण पूर्वीची घड्याळ असायची बघा चावीवरची. Likewise, in ancient days, such type of the mechanisms were there, and nowadays also mechanisms are there, to which once in a week it is required to provide a energy, we can say. म्हणजे आठवड्यातून एकदा आपल्याला याला स्प्रिंग करावं लागतं, एनर्जी प्रोव्हाइड करावी लागते, आणि दर 24 तासामध्ये याचं एक रोटेशन कम्प्लीट होतो. कुणाचं, या ड्रमचं. मग ज्यावेळेस पाणी या फ्लोट मध्ये येणार, चेंबर मध्ये येणार, फ्लोट वरती उचलला जाणार, आणि वरती उचलला गेला की तो फक्त एका ठराविक लिमिट पर्यंत जाणार, त्याच्यापेक्षा वरती जात नाही. म्हणजे कुठपर्यंत येणार, तिथपर्यंत येणार आहे, या बाजूला पर्यंत. इथं वरती गेला की हा याला टच होणार, म्हणजे एवढ्या कॅपॅसिटी पर्यंत तो टच होणार याला, तिथली आपल्याला इंटेन्सिटी मिळणार. आणि ज्या वेळेस वॉटर कंटेंट या चेंबर मधला जास्त होतो त्यावेळेस तो बरोबर सायफन मेकॅनिझमने बॉटम प्लेसला किंवा साईडच्या बाजूला रिलीज केला जातो. म्हणजे इथून आपण बघतो बघा, या साईडला सायफन चेंबर आहे. तर सायफन चेंबर मध्ये काय केलेलं आहे, हा इन्व्हर्टेड यू शेप पाईप आहे, म्हणजे इथं ह्याचं इनलेट आहे, याचा आउटलेट आहे. ज्या वेळेस पाणी इथून वरती जाणार, म्हणजे या चेंबरच्या इथपर्यंत जाणार, त्यावेळेस पूर्णपणे ही पाईप भरलेली असणार आणि थोडं पाणी इकडे येणार. वन्स अ वॉटर विल मूव्ह टुवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट हँड साइड पोर्शन ऑफ दिस siphon tube, in that case it will start automatically operating, and it will going to control the water level inside the float chamber. It means that whenever the maximum amount of the water level in the float chamber will reach, it will be maintained further by the siphon action. Okay, it means that, and there will be a question in your mind that suppose that after a certain value, that is a maximum limit, that rainfall has been stopped, then in that case how we will be able to record the rainfall. So when that maximum water level will be reached and there will not be further rainfall, in that case we will have a straight horizontal line, isn't it? So straight horizontal line means that there is a no fluctuation in the rainfall, we can say, or we used to get that thing. Okay, so this is the mechanism of a siphon type rain gauge. We'll summarize the things which we have discussed now for the siphon rain gauge. It consists of a float chamber. As the rain is collected in a float chamber, the float moves up, which makes a pen to move on a chart wrapped around a clock-driven drum. Then when the float chamber fills up, the water siphons out automatically through a siphon tube kept in a interconnected siphon chamber. The clockwork revolves the drum once in a 24 hours. It means that for the complete rotation or one complete rotation of this drum, it requires a 24 hours. The clock mechanism needs a rewinding once in a week. Means the clock mechanism requires to have an energy provision of energy once in a week. Rewinding म्हणजे आपण चावी देणे म्हणतो त्याला, की करणे. Likewise. Then the chart wrapped around the drum is also replaced by 24 hours, so that we will get the next chart and next precipitation data. Such type of the rain gauges are used by the IMD, that is Indian Meteorology Department, India. Okay, this is about the float type rain gauge. So those are the types of the rain gauges which are used for the measurement of the precipitation. Now, after providing such type of the rain gauges in an area or in a region, we used to come across the things that yes, the number of rain gauges which you have provided at a particular catchment area or particular location are sufficient or not. म्हणजे बऱ्याच वेळा काय होतं की आपण काय म्हणतो की एखाद्या रिजन मध्ये आपण रेन गेज लावले, आपण इन्स्टॉल केले, 3 लावले, 4 लावले, 5 लावले, परंतु त्यांची जी संख्या आहे ती संख्या सफिशियंट आहे का तेवढा रेनफॉल त्या एरिया मधला मेजर करण्यासाठी. कारण बऱ्याच वेळा काय होतं की रेनफॉल इज टू व्हॅरी इन इट्स ड्युरेशन अँड इट्स इंटेन्सिटी. म्हणजे बऱ्याच वेळा पाऊस हा 1 तास पडतो, 2 तास पडतो, 4 तास पडतो, 10 मिनिटं पडतो, किंवा त्याचबरोबर त्याची इंटेन्सिटी कमी जास्त होते. म्हणजे सुरुवातीला रिमझिम, नंतर थोडा जोराचा, आणखी जोराचा, पुन्हा हळूहळू कमी कमी होत जातो, पुन्हा वाढत जातो. It means that the rainfall is to vary in its intensity and its duration. So for such type of the fluctuating conditions, if the number of rain gauges which you have provided are sufficient or not, that we require to check. So how to check that and how to overcome such conditions? If they are insufficient, then we will be required to provide that. So for that, there are guidelines provided by Indian standards. It is IS code, we can say. And whenever we used to talk about this number of rain gauges in a particular location, means what? We have provided 10 rain gauges in an area of say 100 square kilometer. In that case, if we divide that area by the number of rain gauges, then it is termed as a rain gauge network or rain gauge network or the network density. So rain gauge density or network density defines, or it means that it is a ratio of the catchment area to the total number of rain gauges in the catchment area. Means suppose that a catchment area is 100 square kilometers and you have provided a 10 rain gauges in that area. In that case, that 100 by 10 is nothing but the rain gauge density. Okay, so if you divide that, we'll take the ratio, then we used to get the magnitude here for this case as a 10 square kilometer per rain gauge. So this is nothing but the intensity of the rain gauges, we can say. Now why it is required to have a network or a rain gauge or network, we can say, that is to collect the necessary precipitation data and essentially to design a proper network of the rain gauges. It means that to get or to receive or the total amount of the precipitation that to be accurately, and if it has not getting recorded accurately, it means that if there is a less rain gauges, in that case it will be required to go for additional rain gauges. That is, it means that we have to design the proper network. So as per the standards, we can say in flat regions of a temperate, that is in a Mediterranean and tropical zones, ideally one station, that is one rain gauge for the 100 to 900 square kilometer is a sufficient, whereas acceptable range is one station for 900 to 3000 square kilometer. म्हणजे काय, आयडियली जर का फ्लॅट रिजन्स असेल तर त्या रिजन मध्ये एक स्टेशन साधारणतः 100 ते 900 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर एरियामध्ये असायला पाहिजे आयडियल केसमध्ये. परंतु ऍक्सेप्टेबल रेंज कुठेपर्यंत आहे, तर ऍक्सेप्टेबल रेंज इज फॉर वन स्टेशन 900 to 3000 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर, बट इट इज रिलेटेड टू द फ्लॅट रिजन्स. व्हेअरएज फॉर द माउंटेनस रिजन्स, अपर टेम्परेट माउंटेनस म्हणजे डोंगर भाग असणार आहे, त्या केसेसमध्ये इन द ट्रॉपिकल झोन्स आयडियली वन स्टेशन फॉर 100 to 250 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर. आता इथं आपण बघितलं की एरियाची रेंज कमी झाली, कारण एरिया कसा झाला आपला इथं माउंटेनस आहे म्हणजे हिली एरिया असणार, त्याच्यामुळे डिस्ट्रीब्युशन अनइव्हन असणार. डिस्ट्रीब्युशन एरियाचं अनइव्हन म्हणजे कुठे चढ असणार कुठे उतार असणार. सो ऍज देर इज अंड्युलेशन्स आर देअर, सो ideally one station for 100 to 250 square kilometer is preferable, whereas acceptable range is acceptable range is one station for 25 to the 1000 square kilometers, we can say this is an acceptable range for mountainous region. Then for practical considerations, now this is an ideal conditions we had seen for, but for practical considerations of Indian conditions, the Indian standards, that is the IS, we can say IS codes, we can say as per Indian standards IS 4987 and 1968, it recommends the desired number of rain gauges as below. That is, in the plains, one station per 520 square kilometer is sufficient. For regions of average elevation of 1000 meters, one station or one rain gauge per 260 to 390 square kilometer is essential or adequate, we can say. In predominantly hilly areas, डोंगराळ प्रदेश असणार आहे, in hilly areas with a heavy rainfall, रेनफॉल इंटेन्सिटी ही जास्त आहे, त्या केसमध्ये वन स्टेशन और वन रेन गेज पर 130 स्क्वेअर किलोमीटर. इथं एरिया कमी झाला म्हणजे इथं डेन्सिटी जी आहे ती डेन्सिटी वाढवली आपण, म्हणजे काय केलं, त्याच एरियामध्ये नंबर ऑफ रेनगेजेस आपण वाढवले, मॉलिक्युल्स जशी वाढवली की डेन्सिटी वाढते, तसे रेनगेजची संख्या वाढवली की रेनगेजची त्या पर्टिक्युलर एरियामधली त्यांचा नंबर वाढतो म्हणजे त्याची डेन्सिटी वाढते. ओके, as simplified form we can say. So as per that, for hilly areas having heavy rainfall, one station per 130 square kilometers. That is the range as per the IS, it is Indian standards. Now we'll see that how to check the adequacy of the rain gauge stations. It means that suppose that we have provided the rain gauges in an area, is those rain gauges are sufficient or not. That is, in a previous example we have considered the 10 rain gauges for 100 square kilometer area. It means that we will be required to cross check that is those many rain gauges are sufficient or not. So how to check that? For that there is a standard formula for checking optimum number of rain gauge stations. So no doubt that whenever we will have any sort of the rain gauge, that means the automatic or non-automatic, there is to occur some sort of the error in the measurement. Means for non-automatic there will be the error because it will be required to take out that for the Siemens rain gauge, we can say take out that bottle and empty it and once again replace it, or once again place it inside that cylinder. So it used to have some deviations. So that errors, by taking into those errors occurring while measurement of the precipitation by the provision of the rain gauges, the optimum number of rain gauge stations N is given as N is equals to CV by E bracket square. Whereas N defines here, or N considers here optimum number of rain gauge stations, whereas E defines the percentage allowable error in the measurement. That may be the maximum 10%. If it is not given, in that case we have to assume that maximum allowable percentage error in the measurement as 10%. Whereas CV is nothing but the coefficient of variation in the measurement of the data, or in the measured data by the number of rain gauges. Now we'll see that how that CV is to correlate with the number of rain gauges those are provided or placed in a particular area or a region. So E is the allowable degree of error in estimation of the mean rainfall. It is the average rainfall, we can say. Where CV is a coefficient of variation in the measured data, And now how to calculate the CV and all those things? So CV is given as a standard deviation of that measured data or measured data series, we can say, upon average precipitation. So coefficient of variation we are going to calculate here through standard deviation by average, by considering average precipitation. So we are considering here average precipitation as x bar and standard deviation as sx. In some of the books it has been considered as a sigma, there is a standard deviation, or sigma x we can say, and average precipitation maybe the p bar, maybe the m bar as per the notation. So here we are going to assume that x bar as average precipitation and the standard deviation as sx. Now how to calculate the standard deviation from the average data? So for that we is to have a standard formula, that is a sx is equals to root of a summation xi minus x bar bracket square upon n minus 1, where the n is nothing but total number of rain gauges, small n, that is total number of rain gauges provided in that region. Xi is the measured precipitation by the ith rainfall station. If this is the, if 3 stations will be there, in that case it will be x1 minus x bar bracket square plus x2 minus x bar bracket square plus x3 minus x bar bracket square. It means that x stands for the measured rainfall by a particular station, and x bar is nothing but the average precipitation. Okay, so average precipitation how to get? Summation xy by n. It means that summation of net summation of all the precipitated data upon the number of stations is to get the average precipitation. Okay. Okay, so average precipitation we will get x bar is equals to summation xi by n, means summation of precipitation of all the precipitation from the all the rain gauges. It means that if total number of rain gauges are 3, means n is equals to 3, and rainfall recorded by them as 1, 2 and 3, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeters, then average precipitation will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 upon total number of rain gauges, that is a 3, means 3 plus 5 plus, sorry, 3 plus 2 as a 5, 5 plus 1 as a 6, 6 by 3 as a 2, means average will be 2 we can say. So likewise we will be able to find out average precipitation x bar. From average precipitation x bar we have to find out a standard deviation, that is a sx or a sigma, and from that we have to find out the coefficient of variation of that data series, and from that we have to find out the is the provided number of rain gauges are sufficient or adequate or not. Okay, now I would like to proceed further for the numerical. You have to note down the numerical and you have to solve with me. Okay, because this type of numerical I think so asked in 2005 or 5 years 7 marks. We are going to cover that part also, that numerical also. We'll go for that numerical. Note down this. A catchment has 5 rain gauge stations. In a year, the annual rainfall recorded by the gauges are 78.8 centimeter, 90.2 centimeters, 98.6 centimeters, 102.4 centimeters, and 70.4 centimeters. For a 6% error in the estimation of the mean rainfall, determine the additional number of gauges needed. It means that here, as they have asked, determine the additional number of rain gauges needed, means provided number of rain gauges, that is how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. They are insufficient, and the annual precipitation measured by them is also given to us, and allowable range of the error in the estimation is a 6%, and from that we have to find out additional number of rain gauges. We are knowing that the adequacy of the rain gauges is given by the formula n is equals to CV by E bracket square. So formula is the standard formula, that is n is equals to CV by E bracket square. So CV stands for coefficient of variation and E stands for percentage error, allowable percentage error in the estimation. So E is given as a 6% here. So it means that CV will be required to calculate in a percentage. So we'll see now how to go to calculation step by step. So for CV, we are knowing that CV is a ratio of standard deviation upon the mean precipitation, that is a Sx by x bar. You have to note down simultaneously. So CV is equals to Sx by x bar, that is a standard deviation upon average precipitation. Then standard deviation, that is Sx, is given as root of summation xi minus x bar bracket square upon n minus 1, whereas n is number of rain gauges. Here n will be 5 and xi is nothing but the precipitation of a particular station. For example, x1 that will be 78.8, x2 will be 90.2, x3 will be 98.6, x4 will be 102.4, and x5 will be 70.4. Okay, and x bar will be the mean, that is average. So we'll see that now how to calculate the average firstly, because average will be required here. So average precipitation x bar is a summation xi by n, means x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 upon n, that is the total number of rain gauges. Here it is 5, so divided by 5 will be there. Okay, so we will calculate firstly x bar, that is x bar is equals to summation xi by n, that is equals to 78.8 plus 90.2 plus 98.6 plus 102.4 plus 70.4 upon 5. Okay, so calculate it and paste the answer in the chat box immediately. Firstly, so we got now x bar is equals to 88.08 centimeter, and now by taking square on both the sides, Sx square is equals to sum xi minus x bar square upon n minus 1. So x1 minus x bar bracket square, x1 is a precipitation measured by the first rain gauge, that is 78.8, minus average precipitation, that is x bar 88.08 bracket square, plus x2 minus x bar bracket square, x2 is a 90.2 minus x bar as a 88.08 its a square, plus x3 minus x bar, that is a 98.6 minus 88.08 its a square, plus x4 minus x bar, that is a 102.4, that is x4 is a 102.4 minus x bar 88.08 its a square, plus x5 minus x bar, x5 is a 70.4 minus 88.08 bracket square upon n minus 1. So divided by n as a 5, small n is nothing but the number of rain gauges, that is a 5 here, minus 1. Okay, so you will get the answer as a 179.732. Is you got the same answer? I hope so you got the same answer here. So we got the Sx square, we want to have Sx, that is the standard deviation we want to have. So taking the root of the same, by taking the root, you will get standard deviation as 13.41. Exactly. We got the standard deviation as 13.413.40. Great. So now we got the standard deviation. Now from the standard deviation we have to get the CV, that is a coefficient of variation, but in percent, because here E, that is allowable percentage error, that is given in a percentage. 6% is given. It means that we should have the same values, same parameters in the numerator and denominator to get the unitless parameter here. N हा unitless असणार आहे, number मध्ये असणार आहे. So CV must be in a percentage. So now how to get it? That is x by x bar into 100 we will get simply. So CV is equals to x by x bar into 100, that is 13.41, that is standard deviation, divided by x bar, that is 88.08 into 100. So you got, or we get rather, coefficient of variation as 15.22%, we can say. Now put up those things in a formula to get a adequacy, required number of rain gauges, we can say. You will get n is equals to CV by E bracket square is equals to CV as 15.22 upon E allowable percentage error as a 6 bracket square. We used to get 6.43 as a number. The 6.43 ha number hai. Now we have taken or have considered it as a 7. Why is it so? Because n gives the adequate number of rain gauges. N gives us adequate number of rain gauges. Means here it has been given adequate number of rain gauges, means required number of rain gauges to require such type of the varied data which is having the coefficient of variation or variation in the data as a 15.22%. We will be required to have 6.43 number of rain gauges, but 0.43 we can't provide, so we have to add another one. It means that we have to go for 7 number of rain gauges in a station. But they have asked that determine the additional number of rain gauges required. So how to get the additional? This is nothing but the total number of rain gauges required. 7 are required. How many are provided? 5 are provided. Means additionally we will require to have 2 rain gauges. It means that additional number of stations will be equals to adequate number of rain gauges, that is 7 minus number of rain gauge stations those are provided. This 7 minus 5, that is equals to 2. Okay, so this is about the calculation of the adequate number of rain gauges.